Hey my friends, there's a cycle in every awakening process, a phase I suppose, and it's called the purge. It's not really called the purge, it's just what I'm going to call it because I've been through it and it's sticky, it's difficult because it's almost like you're usually going through the dark night of the soul at the time and your senses are heightened and you're really sensitive to these inner feelings and these inner karmic changes. So if we're going through this purge, this really rapid, accelerated progression through your awakening, then this video is for you. Now at the start of an awakening, it's all fine and dandy, isn't it? We're all excited about learning about our consciousness and diving deeper into who we really are, beyond this body, beyond the identity, beyond the emotions, as the witness to all of them. But as we're losing our attachment to our identity, we can still, a lot of the time, very frequently in fact, almost all of the time, still be totally and utterly attached to that identity. And it's why sometimes as we go through this purging process, we're like, oh, it feels like I'm getting nowhere, I'm actually getting worse. I've got this barrage of crap just stoking up within me, and I'm speaking to a few of you, and I know, especially those of you on the Awakening Accelerator course that are going through this. And this video is essentially for you. This cycle of awakening, you know, after the start of our awakening, it's all happy go Larry, oh I'm excited, yes, I'm learning I'm not the body, this is great. But then comes the real muck, you know, when we're in the dark night of the soul especially, like I said a moment ago, we're very sensitive, aren't we? Very sensitive to feelings, especially in the belly, especially in that Manipur chakra, the solar plexus area. And it becomes very difficult to deal with that pain, but deal with it we must because we know we're the witness to the pain. We're the all-encompassing being in which the pain arises. Beautiful really, isn't it? To know that we can only feel pain because we're timeless. We're the timelessness around it. It's the gift of life. Although it probably doesn't feel that way for you right now. Once we've done enough level work and we've increased our vibration to a certain point, we've essentially, the airy-fairy sides of spirituality, the beliefs, they can't sustain us anymore. And this is where our vibration becomes so high now, where everything that we've repressed through our lives, everything that we've been conditioned to believe, any traumas, any wounds, any old, sticky, karmic tie-ups are gonna come to the surface. And you'll know this if you're going through this cycle of awakening, this purge, that it comes up thick and fast. And it kind of goes in waves. If I'm thinking back to the stages, back to the past when I was going through these, it comes in waves, doesn't it? It's like you feel fine for a while. Oh, I've done my good work, my deep sadhana, I'm feeling brilliant. And you sort of open up into life again and you're like, yes, I get this. Only for the next day for it then to drop and you're in some other karmic cycle. And I believe that it does this so that we reach the top of the hill and drop again to the bottom. Reach the top of the hill but slightly higher, then reach the bottom again, but it's slightly higher. And it's always this progression going upwards, slowly but surely. But it's almost like it goes in stages, right? Once we've dealt with one karmic cycle within ourselves as an experience of muck clearing and anxieties and reminders of the past that grip us in and think, oh, why did I ever do that? Oh, and then we sort of inner cringe. Oh, it's like a karmic purge, isn't it? But it's so visceral and it's so real inside. Like we're really feeling all of this stuff that we did before in the past. We're really feeling the inner cringe of how the other person must have felt or what they must have thought about me as I was going through this. And this is the purge. But it's so real for the person that's going through it. And in these moments, of course, I always say, do your breathing practices, do your sadhana. And if you wish, there's a free breathing practice down below. It will help the purge a little bit. It will sort of stoke up a feeling of bliss inside so that when that difficult purge is happening, you can just bring your attention back to that. But it won't do the whole job. It'll sort of take your attention away from the purge for a moment. If you want the real work that I did, my daily practice that I was working out karmically through this stage, and that's the Dark Night of the Soul training down below, the Awakening Accelerate course, these breathing practices are essentially the karmic muck cleaners. They really do not just help you deal with the anxiety and the horrible feelings that this purge stage of awakening creates for you. They also actually accelerate the purge. They make the purge faster. And whilst you're doing your sadhana, any practice really, yoga, whatever, although these breathing practices are specifically designed to help this purge, but any practices that you do are really opening up in you a bigger awareness so that we don't have to be so attached to this purge. Please bear in mind, you are the unchanging inside. This purge that's happening in front of your consciousness, if we can speak like this, is the you that's changing. But you, the witness, is totally untouched by all of this. And these breathing practices are essentially there so that you visually see from that witnessing space. When I say we get attached to the identity, if we can speak like this, is in front of consciousness. I don't know if this is going to make sense to people, but this is just my truth and it is the way that it works. The identity, the thoughts, the me thoughts, the purge, the remembering of old karmic patterns, the inner cringe, the inner twist, the inner knot inside as we remember who we used to be and bring that into the now. That is in front of our consciousness. Now bear in mind, that's not you, but we take that to be us. And these breathing practices are taking us a step back so that we become, as an experience, the unchanging one that gets to witness the purge, that gets to witness the changes. Remember, if it changes, it can't be you, right? If you can see it, it can't be you. If it's in front of your witnessing consciousness, it's not you. You're the witness. Although, at other times in the awakening we can say that it is you too. You're both, right? But fundamentally, as this purge is going on, try and hold space in your witnessing capacity. Be, rather than purge. The purge is going to happen. You can't escape that. Your vibration's so high that everything that you've repressed is going to come up. And it's going to hurt, and it's going to be so visceral and so real, and so you're going to be sensitive, you're going to be feeling it, you're going to be totally involved in this war inside. But the war is not you. Try not to get attached to it, because if you do, you're going to hurt. I remember it. I'm so happy this video is coming out now, because I remember what it's like to think, oh yes, I've got this now, I'm feeling brilliant, and then only for the next day for us to slip up and be like, I've not got it anymore, and this bit in a war to go on. It's like we get a little bit vulnerable for a moment, and suddenly, because we've got vulnerable, we've allowed the mind to come back in and just absolutely tear us a new one. But notice that even being torn a new one is happening in a larger awareness, if you can. That's the purge cycle of awakening. It's difficult, but know that it's happening for a reason. It's a purge for a reason. It's not like your life's going to carry on like this for the rest of your life. You're purging. It's coming up to come out. You are healing it. And that is the most beautiful thing. And I can stand on the other side of the purge and hold the other end of the rope, pulling you slowly, slowly, just to let you know that it does end. But when you're in the thick of it, you're in the thick of it. And you'll know that. So, thank you very much for listening. This was high energy. I just feel great. I feel really great. So, thanks for listening, and really have a lovely, lovely day.